This is Nick Splash. You're watching Izzard 6 Covered, Atlas Titan.
KB32!
Works well.
All I need is a slingshot and a BSA scope. 1,000 yards will kill me a deer. Hey guys, welcome back to Izzard 6 Covered. Appreciate you showing up. Today's video is a kind of a quest. The quest of learning the hard way, per se. A lot of us go out, we buy something that we think we want without really knowing what we're really trying to accomplish. And as you can see in front of me, we have a plethora, I like to say. Now, a plethora of scopes here that are no longer on any rifles. You can see these were painted. This one was originally on this 223. And this one was originally on that 308 rifle. Learning a lot more about how long range needs to take place when it comes to having a good glass is something that you may or may not have heard. Usually, if you do it correctly, your glass will be more than your rifle, depending on your rifle, and it will be a very important investment that you will be able to be glad you purchased when you finally saved up enough pennies to pay for one of these. These are expensive. At the end of the day, all this right here is a waste of money. For me, what I was trying to accomplish. And what I was trying to accomplish was 1,000 yards with the 223, and I want to go see if I can hit a mile with the 308.
I know you just didn't say a mile,
I have to have
fool.
very good quality materials. I need to have a good quality glass. I need to have good quality scope mounts. And I need to have a good barrel along with a good trigger and good ammo, right? So there's a lot of things that are involved in order to shoot a target at a said distance past 1,000. This one, 10-inch steel, I hit with a 75 grain Hornady boat tail hollow point that we loaded up with X-Ring. If you're not familiar with X-Ring, is superb long range shooter as well as pistol and everything else. But after shooting with him for the last few years, I have come to the conclusion as we have tested these with different rifles being on here and here, that this is not cutting the mustard for what I need to do. The mounts are not, they're not good enough for what I need. The scope is not good enough for what I'm trying to do or trying to accomplish. After I went through all these, basically from your Walmart version, Bariska rifle, this is illuminated. You know, it's got caps. You can change the windage and elevation, but this is not what I was looking for. Then I moved on to some BSA stuff, thinking I was getting a little bit better. And these are decent for, you know, shooting certain rifles at certain distances, but once you start getting into the long range stuff, they were not cutting the mustard. Some of the other scopes, this is the Nikon setup for 223, and it was designed with the reticle in it for the drop compensation for a 223. It's a 55 grain, I think it says polymer tip that's firing at 3240 feet per second. So your drop indicators were set up for that. The Leupold Mark III, Mark V, what the hell is this? Leupold X3, 3.5 by 10. Still probably a great hunting rifle for, you know, shooting out to a couple hundred yards or whatever, depending on what you're shooting. But this is not what I was needing, you know. And I had this set up, I painted it, did all this stuff, and then I started shooting with people that actually knew what they were doing. And I come to the conclusion that this great scope that would work great on something else, a hunting rifle of some sort, is not going to be what I'm looking for shooting out to 1,000 plus yards. At the time, I didn't even know that they had scopes that were designed like this. I mean, these scopes are very expensive. They're very beefy, built like bricks. The scope mounts are built to withstand all the recoil, hold zeros, all that kind of stuff that you don't normally wouldn't think of that you would need. But when you come to the seeing what their rifle's doing compared to what your rifle's doing, and you're going, man, what's going on here? And you change the scope and put it on something, a different rifle that just shot perfect, and now it's not because of the scope. It's an indication that I needed to upgrade my scopes. So the money that you see here, basically, for me, was a waste of money. So the whole buy once, cry once theory does very well come into effect. You will see on X-Ring's channel that he does run top quality equipment, but for that reason, he's at that level. In order to reach that level, you do have to have some sort of equipment that is comparable to or the same as in order to get the same results of. Now, you're always going to have, if you were to have a bow and arrow and give it to one guy, and his accuracy, if he's been training a lot longer, has a better pull, better release, and all that kind of stuff, he's going to get a better group than you will just starting out and not having all the fundamentals as much as the person that does. But in order to become more proficient and to become a better shooter, this stuff does help a lot. So that's the reason for this adventure. You're seeing two of the Vortex HD 4.5 by 27. These are great scopes. These have kicked butt out in the competition world for many years. Night Force and Vortex have been battling back and forth. Right now, I think the Night Forces are winning, but these have been putting people in first place, second place, third place for many competitions. So they have been tested, tried and true. They do work well. Now it's just a matter of making sure that my rifle is also just as good as my scope and mount. So hope you guys enjoy. I guess the reason for the video is maybe to save you guys some money from buying something like this if what you're really trying to do is hit 1,000+ yards with whatever caliber you're trying to work out. Save up the money. You might have to wait a while longer, but at the end of the day, you'll have a big smile when you ring the gong at 1,000 or more. So it's a lot of fun. So with that said, long range shooting is very expensive if you guys are getting into it like I am trying to. Everything is a lot more money, between basically bipods to scopes to scope mounts to barrels to calibers and chambers and so on and so forth. So welcome to the rabbit hole. Hope you guys enjoy. Bring a flashlight so you can see and see you guys on the next video. Take care.